7 tough questions women ask you to test you. It's trap, it's bait, and if you don't answer these questions the right way, you're going to fail the test, and you could potentially lose the entire girl. Women do this on a subconscious level to test the men they're with. So you have to be well equipped on how to handle each question. Question number 1, what are you looking for? This question comes when you match with them on an app, or you meet them in person, and you meet up with them, and they landed on you. What are you looking for? They're testing your frame. They're seeing, is this guy going to give me a bullshit answer? Is he going to lie to me? Is he going to just say something that he thinks I want him to say? They're going to say these things. They're going to think these things. And so what we have to do as a man is not react and not give a straight answer. What you'll see with all of these questions is that women don't care about the truth. They care about the feeling they get from the answer you give them. Okay? So most guys would say, oh, I'm really looking for settling down, or I'm really looking to just hook up, right? They'll give the blunt truth. One thing you should never do is show your full cards to women, even if that's what you think she wants. They appreciate a sidestep better than literally the straight answer. So if you're like, because here's the problem. With every straight answer, they will find an issue. But if you make them laugh, they can't think of issues. For example, they ask you, what are you looking for? And you're like, you know what, I'm really at the time in my life where I want a serious relationship and I want to settle down. They're going to think in their mind, oh fuck, he's going to trap me down. Oh my God, he likes me so much. Oh my God, it's too much pressure, I'm out. Okay? Even if they want a relationship, they will think that. On the flip side, if you give the brutal truth answer that you just want to fuck, let's say you do, I don't care, and you're like, I just want friends with benefits, I just want casual. They're going to think in their mind, oh my God, I'm going to get used, even if that's what they want. I'm going to get used, he's just going to hook up with me, he's never going to talk to me again, blah, blah, blah. You don't give a straight answer. You don't give the brutal, honest truth. Not like I'm giving to you right now. So what I typically say is, oh, it really just depends who I meet. Like you could be great, you could be medium great. If you're not great, then why would I want to date you? And I throw right back on them. And I don't give the straight answer. It's super vague. It's super ambiguous. It could mean a lot of things. I mean, it depends who I meet. That dictates what I'm looking for. So what do you bring to the table? Boom, right back on them. They have no time to analyze what the fuck I even just said. Question number 2, why are you single? Again, this can happen before you meet her or on the date as well. They're going to be curious, why is this guy single? I'm having a good time with him and he's good looking. Why are you single, right? They'll try to bait around and kind of see what they can get away with this answer. Again, the worst thing we could do is not be confident, certain, and bold in how we respond to them. And we always want to flip it back on that. Okay, so for example, here are some ways you don't want to answer this fucking question. Why are you single? Oh, I'm just waiting for the right girl, and I've been in relationships, but, this is what I'm really looking for, and blah, 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 blah. Dumb, gay, no one cares. Okay, you give short answers, you flip it on them. So for example, when a girl asks me why I'm single, I say something like, I'm a picky man. I'm a picky man. That's it. I don't tell them what I'm picking for. I don't tell them anything. I don't tell them what I'm looking for. I don't tell them the standard. None of that. I just say I'm a picky man. We gotta see what's out there. I'm good single too. Tell them that, right? Tell them you're good single. Tell them you're good alone. I'm good alone. I don't need a girl. I don't need. Like if you end up being in the orbit, that means you're a bonus. If you're not a direct bonus, then like, what's the point? Puts them on their heels. It puts them in a position of like, oh shit, I better perform. I better show up. I better treat him well because he'll just kick me to the fucking curb. Number 3, what do you do for work? Now, a lot of people might say this is not a testing question. It is a testing question because they will ask it in a way that is kind of like, well, what do you do for work, right? Kind of in that tone of, what do you have to offer, okay? The biggest trap men fall into with this question is they give a truthful, long answer because you probably are excited by your work and probably because you think she cares about the answer. But again, they don't care about the answer. They care about how they feel. So here's the wrong way to answer that question, okay? When a woman says, what do you do for work? You don't go into this performative interview response question vibe like, oh, I do this and my job title is this and I've been at the company and, I do this and it's really interesting and like my boss is like this and sometimes it's like this. Nope, no one cares. Gay, dumb, boring. Okay? Gay, dumb, boring. When you're going to give a long answer to a woman, literally just remember the real game saying gay, dumb, boring. And then you'll be like, oh, can't do it. Nip it, send it back to her. So what you do is you give a vague answer and you flip it on her. What do you do for work? When a girl asks me, what do you do for work? I say, oh, I'm in branding and merchandising and stuff like that. What about you? That's it. Right back to them. And typically, because I'm so vague and so mysterious, they're going to want to ask and naturally ask me more questions like, what does that mean? What do you do? Who do you blah, blah, blah? And each time I still give microscopic answers. So a lot of times they'll be like, oh, what does that mean? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, oh, just like clothing brand stuff, e-com, fun stuff like that. Nothing too crazy. What about you, right? Tell me about what you've been doing. Boom. I'm not getting put in any corner. You're not putting me on the hot seat. You're not making me feel like I am performing in an interview. I am simply giving you enough to taste something. It's a tasting menu, okay? I gave you enough to taste something. Great job. Enjoy that. Because they don't care. Watch. If you think I'm wrong, I want you to go and ramble about your work and tell them all the ins and outs and watch their brain literally just explode. Explode in real time with zero interest because they're 100% bored and they don't give a shit every single time. Throw it right back on them. Keep your answers very short and concise. Number 4, what happened in your last relationship? This is a good one, especially if you've had crazy relationships, which I definitely have. As always, they're testing you to see, they're trying to look for red flags, right? They're trying to look for red flags. Oh, what's wrong with this guy? Blah, 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 right? Their mind is just fucking running. And so the worst thing you could do is tell them the truth, right? The worst thing you could do is, oh, well, she broke up with me because she was moving and the distance and, she's a great girl and it ended really well. We're still friends, but like, blah, 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 right? Telling the story, going into specifics. Oh, I ended it with her because, she was doing this and she was doing that and blah, blah, blah. Stop it, okay? Anytime you talk about negative things with women, even if it's the truth and has nothing to do with her, it kills her state. They can't help it. So even if you're talking about something unrelated, like a relationship 5 years ago, if you talk about negative things, oh, she used to do this, you should do that, her body and her mind and her emotions will immediately feel like shit. And she will just be like sad and like, oh, like it's a fucking downer. Okay. They don't realize they're putting you in this position when they ask these questions, but I do realize it. So I'm here to save you. So that's the wrong way to handle that question. Okay. Because we don't want to be negative. We don't want to shift the mood, even though, of course, an ended relationship is always negative, typically. So how do we answer? What's the right way to do this? When a girl asks me that, what happened in your last relationship? I'm like, things didn't work out for a reason. I'm much happier. I'm glad it didn't work out. And, that's it. Nothing lasts forever. That's it. Simple. And oftentimes I don't even ask them, what about you? Because I don't want to go down that route. So I'll just completely change subjects, right? And I might even say something like, you could think something is perfect, but like time goes on, maybe it's not. And actually, what's better for you wasn't that, right? Just like some life lessons, some cliche, some super basic cliche, like caveman talk. Like, oh, the stars, they didn't work out. And so like, things just move on. But everything's fantastic. Everything's great. End it on a positive note. I'm telling you, if you dive into the weeds, like, she would go through my phone and like, God, we would fight all the time. And she was like this. And dude, she's going to see red flags for no reason. She's going to feel negatively. She's not going to know who to believe. She's going to take the side of the girl's story. Okay. Don't even go there. Number 5, have you ever cheated? Now, even if you haven't, you need to know how to answer this question. Okay. Women are going to ask you this a little bit further in, maybe a month in, 2 months in, whatever. Because again, they're very nervous, worried, anxious, and they're looking for red flags. They're looking for problems with you, quite literally. And so they're going to ask, like, have you ever cheated on a girl or whatever? And here's the wrong way to answer the question. The wrong way to answer it is directly yes or no. Here's what's going to happen. When you say no, okay, you're like, what's wrong with saying no? Doesn't she not want me to cheat? Not necessarily. It's not that black and white. Let's say you just say, nope, never. I've been 100% loyal to every girl. She's going to think, she can't help this, guys. Okay, this doesn't make any sense, but she can't help her mind. Her female mind is going to say, he gets no pussy, he's boring, he's safe, he's nice. That's not a turn on. It doesn't turn them on to hear you've never cheated. It also doesn't turn them on to hear you have cheated a bunch. That's the art of question answering with women. Because both brutally direct yes and no's have negative effects, which doesn't make any sense, but it's just how women operate, and you have to get your mind around it. So you're going to say, no, never cheated, 100% loyal, because they've probably cheated like at some point, unfortunately, right? And so she'll be like, oh, she'll feel guilty, she'll feel shame. Oh, this guy's never cheated. Fuck, I cheated. Is he going to like me now? Blah, 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 blah. Okay? Or on the flip side, you're like, yep, every girl I've been with just fucking ran through their house, cheated all the time. What's funny enough is that answer is honestly better than the other one, but there's still a better option. Okay. So we don't want to say directly either. We want to do an indirect response, which is what I teach and what I'm fucking king at because I know how women operate. We need to just deflect and get them to a better state. That's all this is. Okay. Again, they don't care about the answer. We just need to put them in an emotional state to where they're giddy and then they forget. So a girl asked me, have you ever cheated? I would say something like, that's such an interesting question. Have you? Right? And so she might say, no, absolutely not. Okay. Or she might get like a little like squirmy because she has. And she'll be like, but I'm asking you, right? in theory, if she never has. And I'd be like, honestly, no. Nah, I don't think so. Right? Do you see what I did there? It's like, you don't think so. How can you not think so? How do you not think you never cheated? Like, how does that make any sense? Right? The brain is gonna short circuit, be like, what? What do you mean you don't think so? And I'll be like, I don't think so. Life is messy. Okay? Life is messy. Things that, like, right? There's aliens now. Okay? We have aliens. I mean, do you see what's happening with China? We have robots. Like, life is messy. Life is messy. Have you? Do you see what I did there? Boom, deflection. Took her mind to fucking outer space. Now I'm talking about literal Martians and AI robots. And then I put her on the spot, like, what about you? You haven't told me your answer. I'm telling you, this works so fucking well because you put her in such a funny state because women love being trolled, guys. Okay, they fucking love when you troll them. When you troll them, when you fuck with them, they're just so happy. They're so happy because their mind is taken off reality. And now I have her laughing. And she's like, what is this guy talking about? Aliens? What the fuck? But I'm like, no, like, tell me, like how many times have you cheated though? Right? And she's like, no, I haven't. Like, okay. See? Bigger things. Life is crazy. Life is crazy. How's your drink? Boom, boom, boom. Number 6, are you always as confident? When you become a little bit of a player, right? Women know that you are a player. Like, it's very obvious to them. And so what comes with this territory is they're going to feel oftentimes a little like threatened by your confidence and your certainty, because women know the characteristics and the types of guys that women love. And when you embody these things, because you watch The Real Game, they're going to challenge you. They're going to try and humble you. Okay? Because the more humble they have you, the more they think they can control you and have you be loyal to them in theory. But then once you cave, of course, no interest. So they're going to be like, are you always as confident? Maybe in conversation or something. And you always, in this question, double down. The worst thing you could do with this question is concede, cave, lose frame, defend yourself, never do it. Okay? So the bad way would be like, no, I'm fine, right? You're caving, you're conceding, you're trying to be liked, you're trying to change who you are. Women will ask you these questions already loving this part about you, but they'll just feel inclined to challenge you to see if it's actually real. Once you just double down and say, yeah, actually, this is me at my most humble. Actually, what you're seeing today is nothing, right? They're going to be like, oh, fuck, I love it. It makes them feel like you are powerful, which is really important. Women want powerful men. Number 7, this kind of goes hand in hand with number 6. What is your body count? When you become a man that has women, this question comes up, okay? I've had this question asked to me a lot, even before I've slept with women. What's your body count? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why are you asking? Right? Throw right back on that. And they'll be like, well, you seem like the type of guy, right? You seem like the type of guy that would hook up with a lot of women. Why is that? See? Let's just keep throwing it back on her. Why is that? Well, you have the confidence. You have the confidence and you just know how to talk to women and blah, blah, blah. Thank you. You're so sweet. I love when you compliment me. See? We're just deflecting. It's going to be minutes before she even remembers she asked this question. And again, the wrong way to answer this question is obviously you never tell her. Obviously you never say just 8. Like, you never give the answer. Okay? But you also don't cower. Okay? You also don't act timid like, oh, like, do you care? Like, what my body count is? Like, do you like, it's not that much. Like, I promise. Like, right? You don't act timid at all. And you don't give the straight answer, whether it's low or high, ever. You deflect and you say you're never going to know. So just stop asking. That's exactly how I handle it. I'll flip it back on them. Why do you think that? Oh, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. And then just not answer. Then they'll press me. No, but tell me, what is it? What's yours? Tell me what yours is. Whoa. No, so I'm curious. Throw it right back on them. Eventually, she'll get back to the question and she'll be like, no, tell me. And if she presses me, if she keeps pressing me, I will look her in the eyes and I'll be like, I want you to understand something. You'll never know. Ever. Okay? You're going to die one day. I'll literally talk like this. I'll just make it so emotional and so dramatized that like her mind literally just runs, because then they forget why they even want to know the question. And I'll be like, look, you're going to die one day and you're never going to know. Like, you'll just be dead and not know. That's just like what's going to happen. And I'll be there. And I'll just wave. And they're like, oh my God. Oh. And they're laughing. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. You'll be fine. You'll be in good health. Don't worry. You're going to live a long life. I can see it right now. I'm a psychic. I think you're going to live, I don't know, maybe another 70 years. So don't even worry. But when those 70 years comes to an end, you won't know. Then they'll laugh. They'll be like, what the fuck? And I'm not answering. Right? But you spruce it up. You don't get uncomfortable. You don't get like, why are you asking? Like, I'm not going to tell you. I don't want to tell you. Like, that's personal. Right? No. No, I'm gonna paint a picture. I'm gonna take you to the fucking moon. You're gonna die. Like I get dark. You're gonna die, and you're not gonna know. And I'll be at your funeral with my number in my coat pocket, and I'll put it on your grave. Okay, you can see it from the afterlife. Some shit like that, right? You just spruce it up, and so you put them in a state of laughter and being giddy to the point where none of it matters. That's the key. If you want to date more attractive women, hotter women, higher quality women, anywhere in the world, click the link below to work with me one-on-one. I will change your fucking life with my program. And if that's too big of a step for you, I have a private community as well, and the Unreadable Man Protocol, which will make you a master at dealing with women. I'll see you in the next video.